The modern attack surface is vast and permeable, extending from the data center to the cloud and device edge. Security teams are stretched thinner and thinner as they try to cover this ground. The result? More high-profile breaches hit the news every day. Don't let your organization be next. ExtraHop delivers security from the inside out, helping enterprise security teams detect threats up to 95% faster and cut staff time to resolve by 2/3 or more. Act with confidence. Learn more at extrahop.com/securityweekly. Effectively securing your organization and its reputation requires a smarter approach. To maximize efficiency and minimize risk, security experts turn to LogRhythm, the only leading solution built solely for security teams by a security team committed to your success. With next-gen SIEM, user and entity behavior analytics, network traffic and behavior analysis, security automation and orchestration, and compliance, LogRhythm provides security made smarter.
Welcome back to Business Security Weekly. I am your host, Matt Alderman, joined by Paul Asadorian. RSA Conference 2019 is the place to be. From March 4th to 8th, San Francisco will come alive with cybersecurity's brightest minds as they gather together to discuss the industry's newest developments. Go to rsaconference.com/securityweekly-US19 to register now using the discount code 5U9SWFD to receive $100 off a full conference pass. Security Weekly will be in Broadcast Alley on Monday and Tuesday of RSA Conference 2019. To learn more or request time with us, please visit securityweekly.com/conference request. And speaking of the conference, let me welcome our next guest. Sandra Toms is Vice President and Curator at RSA Conference. In 1998, her vision was to establish RSA Conference as a global cybersecurity forum where technology, vendors, and businesses unite. We all know how that turned out. Britta Glade is Director, Content and Curation at RSA Conference. When I first met Britta in 2012, she headed analyst relations for RSA before moving over to RSA Conference, working very closely with Sandra. If you want to learn more about RSA Conference, you can visit rsaconference.com. Sandra and Britta, welcome to Business Security Weekly.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So a little story to start us, because I've known Sandra and Britta for a number of years. I worked at RSA from 2012 to 2014. Like I said, Britta was on analyst relations and then later went over to the conference. And, I worked very closely with the RSA conference staff when I was at RSA, but I got to work a lot closer with you when I was at Tenable, actually, in from 2014 to 2017. A couple keynotes in Singapore, Abu Dhabi, a session in RSA. So it's, we've worked very closely together. So it's a pleasure to have you come on to Business Security Weekly.
You're one of my favorite speakers, so it's so great to do this with you. Thanks.
Thank you. So what we wanted to talk about a little bit today is what's new at RSA Conference 2019. I think a lot of us know RSA Conference for the Expo Hall. There's a lot of activities around the Expo Hall, but there's a lot of other things that go on at RSA Conference. And I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of preview what's coming this year so that we can kind of educate people before they come. Hey, here's some of the things you might want to check out this year that maybe you haven't checked out in the past.
Sounds good. Yeah, there's a lot going on at RSA Conference each year. It's never the same event twice. Always try to mix it up, do something different. So if you want to start in a particular area, we can talk about our innovation programs, which are pretty epic. We have something, of course, Innovation Sandbox, which people are aware of, where we have companies who are selected from a field of about 100 to participate. So the top 10 companies are there. They have to talk about why they'll be successful in 3 minutes or less to a panel of judges. And it's a great spectator sport. And it's really a great opportunity for the audience to really learn about new and up-and-coming companies. We have another area called Early Stage Expo, which is in the Marriott. The Early Stage Expo, I think we expanded it, so it's close to 60 companies that are there. They're young. Some of them can't afford a full booth or a full staff to be on the show floor. So that's a great area to see some really new technologies and interesting technologies coming up. And then we have a brand new program this year called Launchpad. And Launchpad is really Shark Tank meets RSA Conference. So it's an opportunity for some companies, very, very early stage, to present in front of a panel of VCs for the potential of winning some money to help their endeavors. So that's really a lot of fun too.
And I've participated in 2 of the 3 programs because I think Launchpad's new this year. But when I was at Layered Insight, we tried to get into Innovation Sandbox, super competitive for those startups and those kind of early stage tech companies to come in and compete. I think Hugh Thompson does a fantastic job facilitating that program, and really get to see some great technologies. It's like a 3-minute pitch in front of the judges, and then at the end you kind of pick the winner, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of different programming along the way. It's a fantastic program. It's great to see. There's, these young companies are literally in front of thousands of people in the room, but also we videotape all the pitches. So you don't need to go to RSA Conference to see it. You could see it later, or you could go to a seminar on Monday instead. So that program happens on Monday. And Britta, you want to talk about some of the programming that we have that's new this year?
Yeah, we've got a lot of new programming, and I was going to interject the 10 finalists for Innovation Sandbox will be going out in a press release tomorrow. So watch for that. Some great participants there. So yeah, a lot of new programming this year. And Paul will be one of our speakers this year, which will be super exciting. Always energetic and always interesting. But our programming content-wise, as well as all of these other experiences, and I'm glad we're focusing on the what's new this year, because RSA Conference is huge and can be overwhelming. What drives what we do is the feedback that we get on our verbatim every year. When we do the survey out to our attendees, what did you like? What didn't you like? What would you like to see? What would make this better? We try to react directly to what we're hearing from our attendees and do challenge ourselves to get better and better. And that's what's driven some of the new programming that we're doing. Certainly traditional track sessions. We are further developing and growing our Learning Labs program. That's something that was introduced a few years ago. But as you said, Matt, it can get overwhelming, all the things going on. Labs are 2-hour interactive experiences, and those are a really great way to roll up your sleeves, get going on some specific, some of them are breach response related, some, developing CISO skills, all different areas that are covered within the labs. The peer-to-peer program, which is, it's limited to 30 participants. It's a discussion. So everyone in the room is very actively involved in a conversation around a particular topic. And then we have 2 new one-day tracks this year that I really think will be super interesting for our attendees. On Wednesday, we have one called Future Proof 2025. So it's a series of sessions that are very forward-leaning, very, 6 years from now in the security industry, and that's a lifetime from now. But what's the world going to look like? What things do you need to be thinking about from a staffing standpoint, from a people process technology, from all different ways of looking at things? So that'll be a really great, high energy, fast moving one-day track. And then we are very, very pleased to be partnering with Ford Foundation and Bruce Schneier on Thursday for a specific focused track on public interest technology. They've really caught the vision and the opportunity for us as an industry to give back from a public interest standpoint. And there'll be a variety of speakers talking about ways to get involved, things they've done, from a one-day give back a year to I'm gone for a year on a sabbatical, giving back through X organization. So it really should be, the hope is that it's very inspirational and very it gives people an action plan for a way to give back in a public interest sense.
So,
that's great.
Britta, is the infrastructure track with Bruce Schneier? Is that like anyone that's interested can go? Do I have to buy a ticket, or like how does that work?
Thanks so much for that question. So, public interest technology, it's a track. So it is available to people with a full conference badge to be attending. Now, interestingly, on Thursday, which is when that one will be taking place, we also have a program called College Day. This is a program that was introduced a couple years ago. College students are allowed to get a free conference pass, and they're welcome to attend any sessions on Thursday and Friday of conference. So those College Day students, and there were about 1,000 of them last year. So if you're attending conference, you see some college students walking around, introduce yourself. This is our future. We have a great opportunity here to impact this future. But those students also, through their full conference badge, will have access to that track and its content.
Now, Britta, you also mentioned a discussion kind of forum setting. Again, is that like a paid thing or register, and when does that take place again?
Thank you. All these good questions. You're helping people navigate where to go.
That's
what
right.
do I do?
That's my goal.
These passes are different, and so we've added value to. We have a pass called Expo Plus. Some people look at that and think Expo. Well, no, the plus part of that is super important. You have access to West Stage keynotes, the new South Stage keynote forum, to all of our sponsor sessions, our association sessions. A lot can be done with that plus part of the badge. What I mentioned was it's called peer-to-peer. Those are so in demand. People love those sessions because it is a way to really engage in a conversation. And frankly, we as an industry are a little bit introverted. We like to network. We say we want to network, but meeting people can be kind of scary. So the peer-to-peer session, 30 people, really great way to get to know some people, to have a conversation, likely leave that conversation with, at least 5 people maybe that you've met that share a common interest in X topic. Because those are so sought after, they are available to our full conference badge holders. The peer-to-peer sessions will take place Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of conference. The learning labs, which I mentioned, those are the 2-hour in-depth things. Those are also only available to full conference. Those take place Wednesday. Oh, sorry. I have one on Tuesday of those, Wednesday and Thursday, and those are available to full conference.
And now
you also,
sorry, go ahead, Sandra.
You'll see too, it's our overall diversity initiative. So diversity is part of our DNA at RSA Conference. We have a lot of programming that you'll see in there. So we have some programs on Monday that you'll see that something talking about talent shortage, another She Speaks event. We've partnered with a lot of different organizations to bring these forward, but you'll also see all throughout the conference diversity peppered in. We proactively announced our diversity platform, which is focused on governance, experience programming, and the investment that we're making in the future to root out bias wherever we find it. And so the governance, you can see we have an expanded advisory board who are helping us helping us make decisions about programming, about policies at RSA Conference. We're really happy to have them on board. Experience is the experience you feel on site, and I know, Matt, we had talked about the Booth Babe, ban that we've had at RSA Conference. We also have a code of conduct. We have a lot of different things going on. So it's just to make the environment friendly for people that are going to be there and very professional. And then programming. So a lot of the things that Britta has been working on, you can see our keynote stages. We have 2 this year. We have a West and a South stage, where women and diverse candidates are really well represented. So we're really thrilled to have this happening. We also have meetups, and RSA Conference is actually publishing these meetup events. So some with women in cybersecurity, CureCon is part of that as well. So you can find out more information. So it's not just what happens at the conference, but what happens in our community, and we're publishing it. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, I was just going to add, and I know it likely could be a different subgroup, but if folks want training, I think many of our audience may not realize, I know that there's training at RSA because some of my friends who do training are offering classes there. But if you want to take formal classes, I'm assuming those are an extra charge, and you can do that right at RSA, correct?
Yes, we have training. We partner with SANS. So SANS will do training. I believe it's on the Sunday and Monday of RSA Conference. It's a 2-day quick course that you can take with SANS in various topics. That's a separate fee that SANS charges, but we partner with them and welcome people to the RSA conference as well.
It's awesome.
And actually, Paul, this year, we have some of those additional trainings from ISACA and ISC Squared as well. So there's a really robust set of technical training options directly in front of conference.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit because you have the CISO Bootcamp too this year, which I think is new, more from a leadership perspective, and that kind of falls outside of the normal conference badge as well, I think.
Yes. I love, you guys have honed in on some great new programs we have. So yes, CISO Bootcamp, new program being offered this year. Honestly, Matt, modeled off of our very effective long-term ESAF program, Executive Security Action Forum. Say that quickly 5 times. That was founded, this will be year 16 of ESAF. And that is a very, very close group, Fortune 500 CISOs, closed door, Chatham House rule, invitation only, where they have some really, really serious, really, really good conversation. The size of that group, the size of that group determines the quality of that conversation. And there's been lots of interest over the year from additional CISOs of getting involved. So the vision was, and this is being led by CISOs. We have 6 CISOs who are driving a very awesome agenda by CISOs for CISOs. You can go to our website, just search on Bootcamp and see the exact agenda. It is half day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. You do need to be approved because, again, it's by CISO for CISO. So we are very committed to that, the quality of that Chatham House rule conversation, and hopefully building up and growing another group of CISOs who have each other as a community and have some content. The CISOs who've been putting this together, they're approaching it with I wish I only knew. Ooh, if only I had this sort of content. So I'm very sure it'll be really high quality, interesting content for our attendees.
Very good. Now, it's not all work at RSA Conference. There's some changes to the kind of the nightlife, the after hours stuff. You changed the program a little bit, so I think we should educate everybody on where all the parties are from an RSA Conference perspective.
Absolutely. You're right. It's not all work. There's some play. So what we've done is that each year we had something called the RSA Conference Bash. It was always on Thursday night. We know that a lot of our attendees leave early. So what we did this year is we changed it up. So there's a party Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night for those diehard traditionals. And we have them broken up in different themes. Full conference attendees could sign up for a party, like it's using our reserve a seat system. So they should go online and figure out which one they want to go. So the first one on Tuesday night, it's sports night. We're actually going to watch in the party venue, Warriors versus the Celtics. And there's a lot of other games there too. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch this. Or the Warriors beat the Celtics, because I'm sorry, Warriors rock. I'm in California. We also, the next night, Wednesday night, we have something called Whiskey and Wine, and we're getting locally sourced whiskey and wines for people to taste. So, little jazz in the background, be kind of cool, hanging out. And the last one is very classic, a comedy club. So we're going to have 3 or 4 comics on stage performing for our RSA Conference crowd. It's going to feel like a nightclub. It'll be kind of fun. So we totally changed it up. And again, people should reserve a seat to get those. Some things haven't changed. So we have the cyber ops reception that is in the Marriott. And that's where you could taste beers from usually locally sourced beers. But we're also adding an international component to that, because we find, and this is early in the week, on Tuesday night, we find that we have a lot of international delegates. So we're going to try to get them together to meet each other. They'll have, a little, they'll identify themselves with the flag from the country that they're with, and you can meet other delegates who are perhaps from the area that you are. And then we have a pub crawl on the show floor, which is fun. So it's Expo Hall, the last hour of the day. You could go see smaller booths. So we're seeing the smaller booths. That's where a lot of the innovation is also happening. And get a beer and enjoy it.
Now, Cyber Ops was in with Early Stage Expo and Sandbox and that area, right? And it's still there this year?
Yep, it's still there in there. So it's in the Marriott.
Yeah, it's a great way to get some local craft brews, but also go check out Early Stage Expo, where you've got 60 to 70 startups sitting over there, which is where I was last year. A lot of people don't know that it's over at the Marriott, but it's a great way to go over and see kind of all the new startup companies.
And the Sandbox area is a lot of fun too. So there's different activities that you could take place in, a little bit more hands-on with some displays that we have in that area. And it's right there, right by the Early Stage Expo, which is a great opportunity to come play, come visit, and learn something really interesting about some new startup companies that are out there.
And
yeah,
Paul,
and then go ahead,
yeah.
Britta.
Paul and I are channeling our brains right now. Paul was going to ask me, and who has access to the Sandbox?
Yes.
Right, Paul?
Do you need an extra pass, or like what level pass do I need to get into the Sandbox, Britta?
That is one of those plus things, which is awesome. And I totally would encourage everyone to check out that content. Super, super fun. Several different villages with particular focus areas. So anyone with any sort of RSA conference pass has access to get into the Sandbox.
Well, I think that's great. Having been in the community for some time now, I think a lot of my peers will look at RSA and go, oh, well, that's just a show for vendors. And if you heard this segment, you understand there's a lot of things going on. Everything from technical training to workshops to, the innovation sandboxes, all that stuff. I think is a lot of stuff that over time people just haven't kept up on, and they think, oh, well, yeah, it's a show for vendors. I'm like, no, there's a lot going on at RSA that you can kind of make your own agenda, really, based on what your goals are, it sounds like.
Exactly. No, and I appreciate that approach. There's a lot. And planning out what your attack plan, if you will be for RSA Conference is important. Because you could spend, as Matt said, the entire time on the expo floor. Mm-hmm. We've got some great exhibitors. It'll be super interesting. And you will get, yes, Paul, that vendor perspective. You can spend a heck of a lot of time also in Sandbox, listening to actual presentations in the different sessions that are available. So there's a huge opportunity at conference to learn whatever you want to learn. Your guest right before this, I loved his discussion about risk approach. And certainly within the security industry, we understand the importance of this. And there's many different sessions for that, from a business perspective, from a technical perspective, from a policy, from a legal. There's something for everyone at RSA Conference. That's our goal, is to make sure there's something for everyone. And it's a rich opportunity to increase your content knowledge and also increase your contacts within the industry.
Sweet.
And you have a new closing keynote this year. Who's doing the close?
So Hugh Thompson is part of our close as the conference chairman, but he's interviewing Tina Fey. So Tina Fey, known for a lot of her work on Saturday Night Live and 30 Rock, writer, actress, producer, 3-time Emmy Award winner, and also recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for humor. She is going to be fantastic. She's so he will be interviewing her. We've been reviewing the questions that he's going to ask, and it should be a really fun segment to close the show.
Yeah, a lot of people don't stay till Friday, but if you're there on Friday, definitely recommend closing it out. Sandra, Britta, thank you so much for joining us on Business Security Weekly.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Paul.
If anyone wants to learn more about RSA Conference 2019, please visit rsaconference.com. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Business Security Weekly.